Early in the morning, a decision was made. The chief priests, elders, and the entire council bound Jesus in chains and delivered him to Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate looked at the man before him and asked, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus simply replied, "So you say." The accusations from the chief priests were many, a relentless stream of charges. Pilate, trying to get a response, asked again, "Aren't you going to answer? Listen to all these things they're accusing you of." But Jesus remained silent. He offered no defense, no counter-argument, and this astonished Pilate. Now, it was a tradition during the Passover festival for Pilate to release one prisoner chosen by the people. In the cells at that time was a notorious man named Barabbas, imprisoned with rebels who had committed murder. As the crowd gathered, hoping for the customary release, Pilate saw an opportunity. He asked them, "Do you want me to set free for you the king of the Jews?" He knew the chief priests had handed Jesus over out of pure jealousy, not justice. But the priests were already at work, stirring up the crowd, persuading them to demand Barabbas instead. "What then?" Pilate called out to the crowd. "Should I do with the one you call the king of the Jews?" Their reply was a roar, a single chilling word: "Crucify him." Pilate was taken aback. "But what crime has he committed?" he pleaded. His question was drowned out by their escalating shouts, "Crucify him." Wanting to appease the mob, Pilate made his choice. He released Barabbas, and then, after having Jesus brutally whipped, handed him over to be crucified. The soldiers led Jesus into the governor's palace courtyard. They called together the whole company. In a cruel mockery of his supposed kingship, they draped a purple robe over his scourged back. They wove a crown from thorny branches and pressed it onto his head. Then the charade began. "Long live the King of the Jews!" They jeered, bowing in mock reverence. They struck him on the head with a stick and spat on him. After they'd had their fill of torment, they stripped off the purple robe, put his own clothes back on him, and led him out to the place of crucifixion. On the way, they encountered a man named Simon from Cyrene, who was just coming into the city. The soldiers forced him to carry Jesus' cross. They brought Jesus to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. They offered him wine mixed with myrrh, a pain-dulling drink, but he refused it. And there, they crucified him. The soldiers divided his clothes among themselves, casting lots to see who would get what. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. Above his head, the charge against him was posted: "The King of the Jews." Flanking him, they crucified two bandits, one on his right and one on his left. People walking by hurled insults, shaking their heads in derision. "Aha! You who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross." The chief priests and teachers of the law joined in the taunting. "He saved others," they scoffed, "but he can't save himself. Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, come down from the cross now, and we'll believe in him." Even the 2 men crucified with him insulted him. At noon, a strange darkness fell over the entire land, lasting for 3 hours. At 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which translates to, my God, why have you abandoned me?" Some bystanders misunderstood, thinking he was calling for the prophet Elijah. One man ran, soaked a sponge in cheap wine, put it on a stick, and held it to Jesus' lips, saying, "Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down." Then, with one final, loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. In that very moment, the great curtain in the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom. A Roman army officer, standing guard in front of the cross, witnessed how Jesus died and declared, "This man was truly the Son of God." Watching from a distance were several women who had followed and supported him from Galilee, including Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and Salome. As evening approached, a respected member of the council named Joseph of Arimathea, who was also waiting for the kingdom of God, courageously went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Pilate was surprised that Jesus was already dead and confirmed it with the officer. He then granted Joseph's request. Joseph bought a linen sheet, took the body down from the cross, and wrapped it carefully. He placed it in a tomb carved out of rock and rolled a large stone to seal the entrance. Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of Joseph watched, seeing where he was laid. Thank you for listening.